So yesterday we seen about subgraphs.
Mhm.
Did you try creating subgraphs? Oh, we
Yes,
tried on session time itself, right?
yeah.
Okay. So next is conditional components, and I believe like conditional components is not available in this version which you have.
Okay.
So conditional components is used to make a component's execution conditional. So based on the expression's return value like 1 or 0, if the expression returns 1, the component will execute. Otherwise, the component will not execute at runtime.
Okay.
So in any cases, if you want to disable or enable a particular component or a particular flow, you can use the conditional components so that its execution can be decided at runtime. So any component in the graph can be made conditional so that it is enabled or disabled according to the conditions specified. If the conditional expression evaluates to true, then co-op runs the component or subgraph. So anything can be conditionalized, be it a subgraph or your anything can be conditionalized. And if it executes to false, it either removes the component or removes the entire flow.
Okay. And
And yeah,
how do we specify that?
yeah, I'll tell you. And in the conditional expression what you specify, you should make sure that it always returns the value of 1 or 0 or true or false, so that co-op understands whether to enable or disable.
Okay.
To specify the condition under which a component executes, you can either type an expression in the box or insert a variable that references an expression in the value box on the condition tab of the properties dialog. So basically when you open the properties dialog, you will be seeing parameters, ports, these ports, and then layout, this kind of tabs, right?
Mm-hmm.
In addition to it, we have a condition tab. So by default that will not be enabled. So we have to go to the graph settings and then check the option called display conditional components or enable conditional components. So
Okay.
after we check that box, we will get the conditional tab in every properties dialog.
Okay.
That means all the components. So in the we will be having a value field and then the expression field. So in the expression field, you can give the value for the conditional expression. The expression must evaluate to a string for true or false or the integer 1 or 0. So true value causes the component to execute, false value disables it. So because disabling that particular component actually will not work out, because it will try to assign the previous input file data to the next component, right?
Okay.
So in that case, you have two options. Either you can disable the entire flow, because when it is given here, right? It either removes the component, the second one, or replaces it with the flow. So even you can replace the flow with the other flow. So in the sense like suppose you have input file, reformat, and a sort component. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is removing the component in the sense, it will disable that particular component.
Right.
And if you are replacing with another flow, then you have to specify what are the ports to use in place of the component. So in that case, you will be specifying the input files output port and the sort components input port, so that they will be connected directly. So it will appear that the entire reformat component is not existing in that case.
If you get a chance to get a screenshot for that, how it appears and how we can do that, it will be great for me. Like not
Yeah,
necessary.
yes.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. I'll get it for you. Okay, and the next component is under validate components folder category. Uh, I'm not sure whether this component exists in this lower version. So it is called check order. It is one of the validated component which is used to test the sort order of your input records. So when we use a check order component, it will test whether the input records are sorted according to the specified key parameter.
Okay.
So we have to specify the same key parameter in the check order. If it detects an incorrectly sorted record, it will write an error message, otherwise no. And we have also a limit parameter which actually accepts specified number of errors before aborting the graph. So if you specify 5 in the limit parameter, and it will accept 5 incorrect records. That means 5 incorrectly ordered records. If there is more, then the component will error out.
And let's say I wanted to use this check order to make my sort conditional. Can I do that?
You want to make
Like
check order conditional or sort conditional?
sort conditional.
Yeah.
My requirement is that if my file is already sorted, then I don't want to sort it. If it is not, then I want to sort it.
Yes, you can do that. So basically you will be giving the values, but how do you write the expression based on the output of check order?
Right. So what is the output of this check order? It will be the same as input, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like
No, the output port that you are asking,
yeah.
in the output port actually it will write the error message. Can you please check whether you have check order
I
component?
do have it.
Okay. So you can test it now. Grab a file and use the check order and give the value. Connect the output to another file component. Let's check what it gives. Do you have the limit parameter also or only key parameter?
No, it has limit as well.
Okay, now as for now, give the limit as the default. Maybe it's 0 or 1. I'm not sure. You will not be using these components mostly, unless if it is a special case that you want to check the order.
And in the limit, if I specify -1, it is infinite, right?
I'm not very sure on that.
Okay.
You have to check the help file what the values for the limit. If it accepts -1, then it should be the case.
Okay. Let me share my screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Basically, I have selected this. So, right, so it is in order by employee ID, and here I have done the employee ID limit 0.
Okay, it's already sorted by employee ID, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm trying to throw it to an output.
Okay, what is the record format in the output port for check order?
I did not change anything. It says propagate from neighbor.
No, the check order. Check order component, yeah. What is the go to ports and output?
And I did \n.
So it is having the default one, right? So it is not giving out the entire data records. That's what. Yeah. Okay. Let's check what the value is. Found 0 records out of order. So it is just giving an error message.
Right.
Error message or a message saying that the whether the data is incorrect or correct.
Right.
Okay, expected non-negative integer. What is the default value? 0?
Yep.
That means it is the unlimited.
No, it cried for it. Then it is out of sequence.
Too many records out of order. So we have the limit as
0.
0, right?
Yep.
And records 5 and 6 are out of order.
And
Number
5,
of rejects.
yeah, like 5, 6 and 7 were there. I changed it to 5, 95 and 7.
Okay. So after 95, it will be everything is out of order. And the limit is 0 means it will allow only 0 rejects.
Right.
Okay. Actually, it is sensing 2 records are out of order.
Yep.
Fifth and sixth.
5 and 6 are out of order. Yep.
And, okay. So we will not be able to get the original data out of this one.
Yep.
So in that case, whatever you said, right, to make sort conditional, we may have to grab another flow from the input file, and in
Yep.
the sort components conditional expression, or maybe as a different parameter, we have to check the file contents, and if the file contents are okay, then we have to design the sort component based on this file's
Right.
contents.
Right. And we'll have to change the phase as well so that the sort will run after this.
Yes, exactly. Like how to give for unlimited errors in the
Sorry?
help. Like, yeah, right click the check order component, go to the help option, maximum number of incorrectly ordered records before check order stops the execution of the graph.
It does not say anything.
It is default is 0.
One basic check would be that if the output file of this one has more than one record, then it is unsorted.
Right. Okay, check order is done. Next we have create data. Create data, I think it will not be available. So it is the newer version alternative to generate records. Even generate records is also present. Um, create data produces a series of one or more output records every time the graph is run. The records in the series can be identical or distinct. It is useful for generating test data for your testing purpose. So it works the same as generate records. In addition, we have a transform parameter. Remember in generate records, we used to customize the data a little bit using the optional tags.
Yes. Yes.
And since we have a transform parameter, we can do a bit more customization than the generate records.
Okay.
And we can also specify like whether we need a new record every time the transform runs, or you want to generate the same record for every record. Like if you are generating 10 records, whether you want same values in all the 10 records or different values in 10 records.
Okay.
That also can be specified. And the parameters are num records and transform. Num records, there you will be giving the number of records that you want to generate, and in the transform parameter you will be assigning a transform according to your DMR. Taking the same example which we discussed for generate records, for customer ID, name, customer greeting, state code and preferred column. So you will be specifying the transform like the below. And you can see that the transform function name is create, and it has a parameter called index. So index is a variable that is built in within the create data, similar to your normalize. But here index starts with 1.
Okay. And variable number of records.
Yeah, yes. So you can use the index variable in your calculations. So here like I want my customer ID field to start from 3501